Shri Gurubhyo Namah Hari Om. Om Akhandananda Sambodhaha Bandhanat Yasya Jayate Govindam Tamaham Vande Chidananda Tanum Gurum. So, yesterday we saw the disciple asked a question. The disciple asked, if the self is of the nature of bliss, then why am I not experiencing it always? That is one. The second is, the self cannot be of the nature of bliss. Because if the self is of the nature of bliss, then who is the experiencer? I'll give you an example. Jaggery cannot experience its own sweetness. So the sweetness can be experienced only by an ant, external factor. So that is a shot down. That doubt is shot down by the Guru very easily. He said, that is wrong question, because the ignorant, without understanding the self to be of the nature of bliss, does all this. He enters the world of object to experience that bliss. Otherwise, there is no reason for that. I'll give you an example. An ignorant who does not know that there is a treasure underneath the ground on which he is sitting upon will be begging for money from people. But when he understands that he has treasure, will he be doing that? No. We gave an example. Arkeche madhu vindeta kimartham parvatam rajeta. If one understands that in his balcony itself he has honey, then why will he run to the mountains or forest? There's no point in it. So, because of the ignorance, he is doing all that. Like, I'll explain it in detail. sthūlaṃ ca sūkṣmaṃ ca vapuḥ svabhāvato duḥkhātmakaṃ svaṃ gṛhītvā vismṛtya ca svaṃ sukharūpamātmano duḥkhapradaṃ sukhamajña icchati. sthūlaṃ ca sūkṣmaṃ ca vapuḥ svabhāvato duḥkhātmakaṃ svaṃmatayā gṛhītvā vismṛtya ca svaṃ sukharūpamātmano duḥkhapradaṃ sukhamajña icchati. svabhāvato duḥkhātmakaṃ. Svabhāvato, by inherent nature, duḥkhātmakaṃ, it is of the nature of a sorrow, grief, misery, which is sthūlaṃ ca sūkṣmaṃ ca vapuḥ, the gross and the subtle body. The gross and the subtle body is of the nature of, inherently of the nature of sorrow. And okay, so why are we talking about that? I was asking about the experience of bliss. Svaṃmatayā gṛhītvā, he accepts that embodiment as himself. The tādatmya, we call it, the superimposition of identification. Because of the superimposition of identification, this fellow sees himself to be the gross body or the subtle body, which is of the nature of inherently sorrow. Okay? And that is not the only error. There are two errors here. One error itself is a problem. Twin error, there is no escape. So double error we call it, right? So he says, sukharūpamātmano svaṃ vismṛtya ca. He also forgetting his inherent nature to be of the nature of bliss. Two errors. What are the two errors? See, if there is one error, at least there is a less chance of getting into so much of troubles. But there are two errors. I don't understand. See, if you forget yourself to be of the nature of bliss, at least there is a scope, there is a possibility. Okay, not too much of pain. But if you identify yourself to be the body sense organ complex, gross or subtle, which is of the nature of sorrow, then there is no escape of sorrow. If I don't understand myself to be self, At least that is okay. But if I understand myself to be something else, I don't understand that. Okay, example. A king, due to an accident, forgets himself to be a king. Okay. There is not much of grief. How do you say that? Yes, the people around him will be in trouble because he does not know who he is. But the people used to be very loyal to the king. Okay, so they will know, even though the king does not know himself to be the king, the others know that this fellow is king. So they are going to serve him as king. He may not know who he is, but they know he is king, is serving him, taking him as king. So this fellow who does not know will be getting all the object of experiences. That is fit for a king, right? Whether he understands it or not, he experiences, he gains bliss through that or not, that's a different issue. We are not getting into that. The double error we said, the second error. If he sees himself to be a beggar, if he forgets that he is a king, that's one point, that's okay. If he sees himself to be a beggar, then he is going to beg from his own servant. That's great misery. Similarly, if you forget yourself to be of the inherent nature of bliss, that is one problem. That's a problem. That's one problem. But if you superimpose yourself to be body sense organ complex, gross or subtle, does not really matter. You are in a deep problem. Grave mistake. Grave problem. Okay. So he says, Ajnaha, this idiot, this ignorant, duḥkhapradadephyaḥ sukhaṃ icchati. Because of this twin error, he runs behind the object which is of the nature of sorrow. Duḥkhapradadephyaḥ. Dukkha, sorrow, prada means that which gives, that which produces, that which generates. What is that object? It is not there. Object is not said. Forget it. Object is not said, but it is object. How do you know that? We'll understand that later. So he desires happiness in the things which are of the nature of a sorrow, which produces sorrow. But where is the word duḥkhapradadephyaḥ? Dukkha, sorrow, prada, to give, bhyaha means multiple object, multiple things, plural. But where is the word object? Okay, you want the word object? Okay. Nahi duḥkhapradam vastu sukhaṃ dātuṃ samarhati. In the very next sloka, he makes it clear. Nahi duḥkhapradam vastu sukhaṃ dātuṃ samarhati. Kim viṣaṃ pibato jantoho amrtatvaṃ prayacchati, is giving it, explaining it with example. Nahi duḥkhapradam vastu sukhaṃ dātuṃ samarhati. Kim viṣaṃ pibatah jantoho amrtatvaṃ icchati prayacchati. What does he say? Duḥkhapradam vastu. Duḥkhapradam, dukkha, sorrow, pradam generates, that which generates the sorrow, which is the object. The object that which generates sorrow, sukhaṃ dātuṃ nahi samarhati. It is incapable of producing happiness. That which is of the nature of sorrow cannot give you happiness. That which is of the nature of sorrow cannot give you happiness. I'll give you an example. If this is not understood, I'll give you an example. If this is not understood, I'll give an example. He says, that which of the nature of sorrow cannot produce happiness. That is very clear. But he's giving you an example for this. How? Viṣaṃ pibatah jantoho, for a person, for a jiva which drinks the poison. Amrtatvaṃ kim prayacchati, can it give him immortality? Can the poison give the drinker immortality? Definitely no. Similarly, can the object of sorrow give him happiness? Definitely no. But wait. We are talking about object. Why are you bringing this poison? This is very beautifully said in Viveka Chudamani by Bhagavan Bhāshyakara, where he says, Viṣaṃ viṣatulyo hi ragadvesha samudbhavaha Vishayam vishatulyohi. Vishayam, the objects, vishatulya, are similar to, akin to poison. Ragadvesha samudbhava, because they are all product of desire and hatred. So they are, objects are poison. Visha, Vishaya. Visha, poison. Vishaya, objects. They are similar. Now, can it give you happiness? But it cannot give me happiness. Yes, I understand. But we do see people running behind the objects. Are they idiots? That is a $100 or $1,000, $100 million question. Because if we don't understand this, we'll be running behind those idiots who claim to be gurus. What is the connection? The connection is this. Oh, so many people go to him. Are they idiots? Oh, that person, that personality, that famous fellow, he went to him. Is he an idiot? These big people can buy those fellows. And these fellows who you think as idols, personalities, they are for sale. You give them money or whatever they want, they'll be there. Enough. You don't have to, they don't have to have any shraddha or anything. Their desires are taken care of, and these fellows' desires are taken care of. Over. Simple. That's a business transaction. So we should not think just because somebody goes to somebody, that somebody should be, that no, somebody goes to nobody, that nobody should be somebody. There is no rule like that. So democracy works in democracy, not in these crazy situations. He'll explain that. He says, ātmānyaḥ ityevaṃ niścitya pāmaraḥ bahiḥsukhāya yatate satyameva na samshayah. Why will people run behind the object of happiness if that is not object, that is not happiness? You said in the beginning, during the vairagya, dispassion, we said, what does dispassion? Srachandana vanitadishu. Giving away srag, the garland, chandana, the sandalwood, vanita, women. We said name, fame, and other objects. Now, giving up name, fame, etc. is for people like you. But the worldly people, they run. Maybe you don't understand. They understand properly. They all run. Are they all idiots? Listen to this. ātmānyaḥ sukhaṃ anyat. Atma is different and happiness is different. But you just told me, the whole discussion started because you told me that the self is of the nature of bliss. Now you are self-contradicting yourself. I am not self-contradicting. I still say the self is of the nature of bliss. Then what are you saying? Iti evam niścitya pāmaraḥ sukhaṃ yatate bahiḥ. In this way, this pāmaraḥ, this illiterate, the person who does not have the knowledge of Shastra, scriptures, he thinks he has a determined knowledge. Therefore, because of this determined knowledge, what determined knowledge you would have forgotten? I'll say, explain it again. Atma is different and the bliss is different. Thinking so, he runs towards the external objects. Satyameva na samshaya. There is no doubt regarding this. This is the truth. This is the truth. There is no doubt regarding this. They think the self is different and the bliss is different. The illiterates. But still, why will they run behind if it is not of happiness? I'll explain. Ishtasya vastuno dhyana darshanadyuva bhuktishu pratiyate ya ānandaḥ sarveshāmiha dehinām cha vastudharmo'no yasmāt manasyeva upalabhyate vastudharmasya manasi katham syat upalambhanam. You have a problem. That problem can be solved only through logic. So he is presenting a beautiful logic. Beautiful, very beautiful logic. What is that? Ishtasya vastunaḥ dhyana darshanadi upabhuktishu pratiyate yah anandah sarvesham iha dehinam sa vastu dharmo na yasmat manasi upalabhyate. Vastu dharmasya manasi katham syat upalambanam. Beautiful. Iha in this world sarvesham dehinam, for everyone. For him, not for her. No, for everyone who has an environment, for all those people, all the jivas. Ishtasya vastunah, whatever the object they desire, the object of desire, with respect to that, jnana darshanadi upabhuktishu yah anandah pratiyate. Jnana darshanadi upabhuktishu, whatever happiness experience is experienced during a meditation, thinking, seeing, gaining, experiencing, they are all. What is this? Dhyana darshana. See, in Taittiriya Upanishad, he presents a beautiful inquiry about the different stages of happiness. Bhagavan Bhashyakara, in the commentary, he explains the different stages of happiness. When you see an object, you are happy. You immediately show your happiness. That is called as priya. Okay. Then, when you are given that object which you are happy about, oh, this fellow is looking at it very much. So, okay, have some. So you got that object. This is double happiness. This is called as moda. And now whatever object you have gained, you are experiencing it. You are eating it or you are drinking whatever that is called as pramoda. With respect to some objects like a sweet, you can see, you can gain, you can experience. 3 levels. But with respect to some objects which you cannot eat or gain, gaining itself is experiencing. So there, the level can be different. Thinking about it, seeing it, gaining it. Like a painting. Oh, Michelangelo. You think about that Michelangelo or any painter, Picasso, Michelangelo, you think about that painter, you are happy about that painting. And when you see that painting in front of you, you are happy. Again, when you experience that, meaning when you are given that, this is yours. That is the pramoda. It can differ. That is why I had to give another example. Okay. So, thinking, seeing, having it. Priya moda pramoda. Seeing, having, experiencing. Priya moda pramoda. So these different kinds of happiness which you experience in quotes. Saha no vastu dharma. That is not of the nature of object. I experienced because of that. That sweet gave me happiness. When I think about it, when I experience it, I gain happiness. And how can you say it is not an object of, it is not the nature of object, it is not an attribute of object? Explain. Yasmat, because manaso'satyarthe upalabhyate, that happiness, where do you gain? You don't gain in the object. You experience in the mind. The object is outside and the experience is inside. You say the object gave you the happiness. The object's nature cannot be happiness. If it is of the nature of happiness, how can you experience it in your mind? You do experience happiness in mind. Vastu dharmasya manasi upalabhyate katham. How can the attribute of object, the nature of object, be experienced in the mind? What was that? I don't understand this logic. Okay, I'll explain this very clearly. Anyatra tu anyadharmanam upalambho na drishyate tasmat na vastudharmo'yamānandastu kadachana. Anyatra tu anyadharmanam upalambha na drishyate tasmat na vastudharmo'yam ānandastu kadachana. Anyadharmanam, objects which are of the attributes which are of a different object. Anyatra, in another object. Na upalabhyate, it is not, never, na drishyate. Upalambha na drishyate. It is not seen anywhere. Accepting the attributes of one object in another object is never seen in this world. No one has seen that. Don't understand. Okay. The object which you call as cloth, that which there where you have the threads are intertwined. That intertwined nature of thread is the nature of cloth. That is not seen in pot. The nature of pot is kambu grivadi mattum, that which has a neck, that which has a belly, that which has a mouth, etc. That is not seen in the cloth. If you say that nature is seen in something else, then it is not something else, it is same. Instead of seeing a cotton cloth, you are seeing a silk cloth. That's all. That's the difference. It's a cloth. That's all. One attribute, object of the attributes of one object can never be seen in another object. If it is seen, it is not another object A, or it is superimposed B. Like I see the snake on the rope, which is never possible. The attributes of snake can never be on the rope. That is called a superimposition. Similarly, you either superimpose or you see the same object. Therefore, you cannot accept the attributes of one object in another object. Therefore, you cannot accept the happiness to belong to the object to be experienced by mind. Tasmat, therefore, āyamānanda kadācana vastu dharma. This ananda can never be the characteristic, the attribute of the nature of the object. Fine. What fine? I don't care if it is an object of, if it is of the nature of a object or not. I don't care. Then you said the bliss is of the nature of self. Now it is not of the nature of the object. That is clear. But it is the nature of the mind, right? That is not established. I am happy. I am happy, in quotes. My mind is happy. Why? Because you established whatever I wanted to establish without me telling anything. Don't jump out of joy. Because we are coming with another shloka. Napyesha dharmo manasaha asatyarthe tadarshanaat asati vyanjake vyangyam nodeti iti namanyatam satyarthe'pi na nodeti satyarthe'pi cha nodeti ānandastu lakshana satyapi vyanjake vyangya anudayo naiva sammatah. If you wanted to, if you jump out of joy saying the object may not be of the nature of happiness, but mind is of the nature of happiness and not the self, that is established. Then we say napi esha dharmaha manasaha asatyarthe tad adarshanaat asati vyanjake vyangyam na udeti iti namanyatam satyarthe'pi cha na udeti hi ānandastu lakshanah satyapi vyanjake vyangya anudayah naiva sammatah. Beautiful. Asati tad adarshanaat. You cannot say it is of the nature of the happiness is of the nature of mind, because napi manaso'satyarthe, it is of the it is not of the nature of mind. Why? Arthe asati, if the object does not exist, that happiness is not seen in the mind. If the object exists, if the object does not exist, there is no reaction in you. No. It is of the nature of mind. I explained you very clearly. The object does not exist. There is no action in the mind. There is no reaction in the mind. Yes, the object does not exist. There is no reaction in the mind. That is why I say the object is that which triggers the happiness in the mind. Since the object does not exist, the trigger does not exist. There is no trigger. So he says, Vyanjake asati vyangyam naudeti iti namanyatam. Don't think like that. What should I not think of? Vyangyam, vyanjakam, vyanjake asati, if that which manifests that happiness, the manifester, if it does not exist, the manifestation does not exist. This is a common thing. Don't you have brains for that? Namanyatam, don't think like that. It is common sense. The object does not exist, therefore that which triggers the happiness, that happiness does not exist. Yes, I understand that, but don't think like that. Why? I'll give you an example. I'll explain this. Uktalakshana ānandahatu arthe satyarthe'pi cha na udeti. The aforesaid happiness does not arise even in the existence of happiness, in existence of object. What you said is the happiness is of the nature of mind. I said if the object does not exist, there is no happiness. You said the object is that which triggers the happiness. And I am saying even though the object exists, there is no happiness. Even though the object exists, there is no happiness seen. If you are going to watch your cell phone continuously for a long period, then naturally you are going to have eye ache. Eye ache. The sense organ which you are applying, that sense organ becomes tired. It becomes of no use. So you have to close your eyes or your cell phone. No way. If you are going to plug in the earplugs and going on to listen to songs, then after some time your ears are going to pain. You have to remove your earplugs. No other way. If you are going into a perfume house with different kinds of fragrance, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. What a life this is. Yes. Go and stay there for an hour or two. You will stop smelling. The fellow who is in this shop loses his sense of smell. He loses his sense of smell. I know a fellow in Rishikesh. He owns a agarbatti house. You enter, you feel a divine fragrance. But he says, I don't know. They say this is very good. You try Swamiji. Because his old factory is gone. That factory is closed. So he says, arthe satyarthe'pi, even though the object exists, you are not happy about it. You see that? Your logic was the trigger was not there, therefore the happiness is not triggered. Now I say the trigger exists. There should be the triggered, the happiness. It is impossible otherwise. That is why it says, Venjake satyarthe'pi vyangya anudayah naiva sammatah. It is never accepted. If the cause exists, the effect should exist. Cause exists and the effect does not exist is never accepted in logic. You said, help me put it clear. You said, there is absence of object, therefore there is absence of happiness. Wherever there is absence of object, there is absence of happiness. That is your concomitance. Yatra yatra vastuvabhavah tatra tatra ānandabhavah. Very good. Then that presupposes yatra yatra vastu sadbhavah tatra tatra ānanda sadbhavah. Wherever there is existence of object, there is existence of happiness. But we don't see. Therefore, the object need not necessarily be of the nature of happiness, nor the mind be of the nature of happiness. Both of them cannot be. Because if the object is of the nature of happiness, I cannot experience it in the mind, that happiness in the mind. But the happiness takes place in the mind. If the object is the triggering cause, you say, then I should be happy when I see the object. But sometimes when the object of happiness you see that experience also. So it is not always the object which triggers the happiness, or the mind is of the nature of happiness. Both are wrong. Okay, then what is that? We'll see. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vishishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.